Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. I hope you all are well, family. Excuse me. Family, we need to talk. We need to talk quite a bit more about this case, this situation in Kansas City, Missouri. We need to talk, family. Wow. About this. This situation with this suspected possible alleged serial killer, this Haslett Jr. But before we get started, family, make sure that you hit the like button, smash the like button, help us grow our channel here at One Brothas Mind. And be sure to share this report on all your social media. We're going to dig in on this one, family. And also be sure that you're subscribed to One Brothas Mind, because we provide you with the information and facts you need. Okay. All right. Yeah. Family, there's not much so-called, and I emphasize so-called, official information that's being released on this case, but there's a whole lot more questions that are being asked and that need to be asked. And the fact there's not much more information is one of those questions. All right. So we're going to dig in here with this, family. We're going to ask some of those questions and look at the situation once again. I think there's potentially a whole lot more here and a whole lot more going on with this situation than has been initially released. All right. First off, family, just a brief recap for those that are just now joining us. Be clear, if you're not aware of this story in this case and you want more detailed information, I have a previous report of the exact same story here at One Brothas Mind. I'll try to post it at the end of this video as well, but you can get it there, or you can go straight to One Brothas Mind in the video tab. It should be right up front for you, so you can get more detailed information. But we're going to do a brief recap for those that are new to this story. So basically what happened, if you look at your screen on the left, this gentleman on the left, he's actually a minister in Kansas City, and he's affiliated in some way with the Kansas City Defender. And around mid-September, he put out this TikTok that you see on the left of your screen. You can still find it on TikTok. You might be able to find it a few places on YouTube, whatnot, if you look for it, but you can still find it, where he put out this TikTok announcing to the public that, according to the information that was coming to him and that the community was sharing amongst itself, as well as with police, there were, as it says, there's been 4 black women believed to have been deleted and 3 others missing. And he just came right out and said, he said, they believe, many in the community believe that there is a serial deleter on the loose. Okay. And he went on to give some more details in regards to why he believes that and what the community was saying. And then that his TikTok and a couple of other social media posts, they began to get some traction on social media, being passed around. Everybody's, trying to warn each other, especially in the black community. And they basically started to go a little viral. And when that happened, the local Kansas City Police Department came out in print, as well as on seemingly all their local news media stations. They put out a report that the rumors, or basically what he was reporting and others about missing black women, were just rumors, and that the rumors were untrue. They were unfounded. As you see on the left of your screen, I got several headlines there for you from different local networks and newspaper publications there in Kansas City. They're all saying basically, it's not true, they're just rumors, don't believe it, right? And then, this was about his report came out about mid-September. Law enforcement and mainstream media's report came out sometime after that. So we're looking now in the area of the end of September into the early October 1st area, or 1st of October, I should say. So the whole black community, or at least the majority of them in this area in Kansas City, they're up in arms, right? But the police are saying, it's all just rumors, nothing true to it, nothing to see here. And then on the morning of October 7th, a black woman in her 20s actually escaped from being kidnapped and held in the basement of this guy in this house. A black woman in her early 20s escaped from this house on your screen on October 7th, when reportedly this guy went out to take his son to school, according to reports. While he was out doing that, she escaped from the basement of this house, ran to neighbors' houses, knocking on doors, begging for help. She was malnourished. She had marks and scars on her wrists and on her ankles. She had a collar with a deadbolt lock on it around her neck, with duct tape around her neck as well. Just absolutely horrible. Okay. When she went to the first house, she asked for help, and the lady that answered the door at the first house she went to was like, okay, let me call the police. And when that lady said, well, okay, I'll call the police, the black lady was like, no, please don't do that. She was just, her fear took off. Her fear escalated. Because she was, of course, afraid this Satan was going to come back, and because the police were there, going to find them and kill them and this and that. But we're going to dig into that a little bit more here, family. Then, so when the neighbor said, I'm going to call the police for you. And she went to go get her cell phone to call the police. The black lady left. She went to another neighbor's home on that block, knocking on doors, different doors. The next door that opened was a lady or a neighbor's grandmother. Opened the door, go through basically the same process. She's asking for help. yada, yada, yada. They brought her into the home, seeing that she desperately needed help. They tried to hear what was going on, provide assistance, call the police. They tried to loosen, or they did loosen, the collar that was around her neck with a deadbolt on it. They tried to offer her some food because they saw she was malnourished. She reported to this neighbor that she had been picked up, is the word that's being reported, by this devil around the 1st of September in the area of a Prospect Road or street. There's a street or road named Prospect. Okay? That she had been picked up there and held in his basement and kidnapped since around the 1st of September. It's now on the 7th of October. She also reported to this neighbor that, according to varying reports, at least 2 of her friends had been held captive also. Now, it's unconfirmed whether there was 2 friends with her or whether once he trapped her in his basement, there were just 2 other ladies there. That's yet to be determined. But in any event, she reported there was at least 2 other women, and they were deleted. They did not make it. Okay? So all this transpired, family. Now, again, the minister brother here on your left, if you watch his video, he reported people were near him when he made this TikTok report, and they specifically were saying that black women were being kidnapped around Prospect, around the presidential garden areas, which in my limited research, presidential gardens is like an apartment community in Kansas City, if those 2 are the same location. And there's a Prospect street or road right in that area as well. Okay? So that's basically an update, family. If you're just now catching us, again, if you want more detailed information, go to One Brothas Mind and view my first report on this. I go into far more details about what has happened. Okay? Now, with that said, this report is more of an update. We want to look at some more of the information. And frankly, there's a whole lot more questions that need to be being asked. Okay? That many are asking, but many are asking these questions, but the police seem not to be. And the mainstream media seems not to be asking these questions. Okay? Here we go. First off, the police report that the minister's report and other social media reports were just rumor. Okay? They were only rumor. They did not say, we looked into these things, we investigated, and we didn't find any corroborating or evidence or anything. They didn't say that. They just said the reports are rumor and untrue. So, without investigating, how do you know missing persons reports are untrue and just rumor? How do you know? Because until you investigate thoroughly, which is what the police are supposed to do, what they're required to do, right? You don't know. So there was a big push by the police and the mainstream local media there to report that these missing persons or missing black women or deleted black women reports were all just rumors and untrue. Not one of these reports said that they thoroughly investigated these reports. Why? Okay, so was the police response that these rumors were not true, was that the police telling the truth because they did a thorough investigation and concluded that? Or was the police lying? Did they just make up stuff? Did they not investigate or do a thorough investigation and just make up stuff? And if they didn't investigate thoroughly or at all, why? Why would they not investigate when you got people from all over the community reporting to the police that there are black women missing? Why wouldn't they investigate that thoroughly when that's their job? Is it because of racism? Why they didn't investigate? Because according to most of the reports, they didn't investigate. They just blew these missing persons reports. They just blew them off. So why? Again, why did they blow them off? Is it just because of racism? Or is the police themselves there in Kansas City, whether it be the entire Kansas City police force or one officer or multiple police officers there on a Kansas City police force, whatever it is, are they themselves involved in and a part of a cover-up? I mean, if you're the police or on the police force and you're in some way connected or involved with a crime, or say a crime like this, and you don't want, or you want to prevent it from being investigated and, solved, and you want to prevent yourself or other officers from being identified as a part of it, then one of the first things you're going to do is ignore and deny reports of the crimes. Or you're going to say, well, there's no evidence to substantiate this, so it's a nothing burger, right? In an attempt to blow attention away or move tension off and away from what's being reported. In this case, it's missing black women. So again, what was the Kansas City Police's motivation for ignoring the black women's missing reports? And what was the Kansas City's police motivation for pushing the narrative that the reports of the missing persons, the black women missing, were just rumors and unsubstantiated? Basically telling the public to just ignore them. Are the police involved? Yeah. Oh, we going there today, family. We going there. Again, here's one of the headlines. The headline from the Kansas City Defender, saying the Kansas City Police said missing black women reports in Kansas City were completely unfounded. Then less than a month later, one missing black woman escaped after being kidnapped from Prospect and tortured in the basement for over a month. Yeah. So also, here's within another one of the reports that have been publicized. This one is from KCTVS. or TV5, KCTV5. One highlight, they made this report to dispel any rumors of Haslett's alleged victims being missing women from Kansas City. The police department also said law enforcement agencies across the area have confirmed there are no current missing persons reports corresponding with evidence examined in the Excelsior Springs investigation thus far. Okay, so let's chop this up a little bit, family. They're in this report the police department is trying to do everything they can to disconnect the story, this Haslett Jr.'s devil, this devil story and investigation. They're trying to disconnect it from the missing black women's reports from the bishop and others in that community earlier in September. They're purposely trying to say these are two different issues, two separate issues, non-related. When the bishop and the other members of the community reported that some of the victims were being picked up from Prospect Street or Road, whichever it is, which is exactly where this victim who escaped says she was picked up at. In addition, the local area police department is trying, then in this little paragraph, they're piling on the other police departments in the area and say none of us have confirmed, none of the law enforcement agencies across the area have confirmed there are no current missing persons reports connected with this situation. The witness, the victim, says is connected, but the police are still saying, they're doubling down, all these are not connected. Stay with me. There's more. Okay? Why are the police so dead set on trying to disconnect this story when the actual victim connected? Now, the community already had connected, but when the victim escaped, the victim connected it. So, before we move on, family, I pray for my family, the brothers and sisters in Kansas City, and the friends and family of this victim. Do not, y'all, please do not leave her in that hospital by herself. Y'all need to have as many people, hire your own security, do whatever you got to do, your own bodyguards, but have people, especially security, there with her until she leaves. Hire people, do whatever you got to do. Because I'm telling you this now, they do not want the police. When I say they, I mean the police. They do not want her talking. They do not want her answering questions and providing more information. Because the story and narrative that the police is putting out does not match the information from the victim and the information from the community. That's clear. In addition to that, the police themselves, as you see on your screen, reported they had visited Haslett Jr.'s home on 3 separate occasions in the past year. Why are the police at this man's home so often just in the past year? What's going on at his home that makes the police have to be there? what's going on? That's not normal. And most of the time, y'all know, family, in the black neighborhood, if the police come out to your house 2 or 3 times, they basically mark you or mark your house or property, your location, as a troubled, suspected location of some kind of illegal something going on. Was his house marked? Was Haslett identified or put on a watch list by the police after they had to come out there 3 different times in the past year? Again, y'all, we got some questions. So with that all being said, what I need y'all, what information, what update I have for you today is some of his social media stuff has been captured and released, not by the police or mainstream media, but by journalists, social media journalists like myself and others here on social media. We're doing the research, doing the work, finding everything that we can find, and then updating you guys, family, and sharing it with you. Okay? So a lot of research has been done since this has occurred, and even though they're trying to wipe it and remove it, some of Haslett's social media posts, things on his social media pages, has been captured. And they're on your screen right now. Okay? Let's look at a couple of these. Right in the middle, just below his picture on your screen, that's the first one we want to look at. Haslett put a post up saying that the race war started a long time ago. Wake up, you dumb bee. Okay, so that was a social media post or a reply that he placed. Okay, let's look at another one. And in fact, like you see on your screen, there are certain portions highlighted in the gray box on the top left corner. I'm not going to just read you what's highlighted. I'm going to read as much as available there. Okay. Now, this is a post that he put up, and he's talking about black people. Okay. Let's read it. When they stop looting, we can talk. When they stop rioting, we can talk. When they decide to act like my equal, then we can discuss their equality. And I genuinely wish they would. I genuinely wish they would. Because that's a conversation that desperately needs to happen. When they're ready to have a grown-up conversation, when they're willing to stop blaming people like me, who never did an effing thing to oppress them for all that's wrong in their life. When they can grasp that I'm not responsible for my ancestors' actions any more than they are guilty just because they're black, when they can look me in the eye. Yeah, he posted this. Okay? The same satanic devil that had at least one, if not multiple, black women kidnapped and tied up, assaulting and raping them in his basement. Do you see that? I got another one for you, family. Got another one for you. In the gray screen to the bottom left. Okay? it's cut off, but it starts where it says, he's talking about black people. And it starts as saying, when they're prepared to act like equals, I'll treat them like one. Until then, why should I give a rat's ass about a bunch of thugs and animals that would take everything? Wait, back up. Why should he give a rat's ass about a bunch of thugs and animals? This the same guy, the same satanic devil that had at least one, reportedly more, black women tied up, kidnapped, raping and assaulting them and beating them in his basement. Why should he give a rat's ass about a bunch of what he's referring to as black thugs and animals that would take everything I have from me if they get a chance? Why should I enable them to get a chance to raise a knife to my throat? Because I've seen absolutely no evidence that equality is what they're actually after. Superiority. This is the same satanic devil that had at least one, reportedly multiple black women tied up, kidnapped in his basement, assaulting, beating, and raping them. He said there's no evidence that equality is what they, meaning black people, are actually after. This devil. Superiority seems much more likely, is what he's suggesting that black people are after. This devil. But it's very difficult to tell right now because both goals are pointed in the same direction. But by the time it becomes clear, which it'll be too late, and I'll be got if I'll ever yield to some black power regime over my dead body or theirs. So yeah, I'll vote for who? Trump. And I'll continue supporting racist, oppressive policing of blacks because as long as they're still choosing to act like my enemy, he's saying black people acting like his enemy. The same satanic devil, the same white supremacist devil that has black women tied up, kidnapped in his basement, raping them, beating them, and assaulting them. He says, as long as black people are still choosing to act like his enemy, then oppressed is exactly where they need to be. Okay, there's more. At your top, on the right side of your screen, you see the picture of our, it's like, if you can't make it out, it's a picture of our sister Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend. Oh yeah, he had something to say. He has something to tell y'all on his, you can see it on, you see at the top is on his Facebook page. Okay. He's got pictures of Breonna Taylor and her, what he called criminal boyfriend, posing with guns. I thought this was a Second Amendment country. You have the right to bear arms. Wait, what's that caption say? Partners in crime? Tell me again how innocent she was and how it's all the big bad policeman's fault. He goes on to say, this ish right here is why blacks don't get taken seriously. This white supremacist, satanic devil. This is what he's posting. Because there's always more to the story. You are damn right about that. That's the only thing I agree with him on. That gets left out. And because in every single instance, it's always someone else's fault. Someone else. You can literally in your mind hear the little arrow pointing from his Facebook post going boink, 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 pointing at him. Someone else's fault. You can literally hear that sound right now. Ding, 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 ding. It's always someone else's fault. And they're completely innocent. I honestly cannot remember once in my life of hearing a black person take responsibility for anything except looting and rioting. This is Haslett Jr. At least as far as his social media goes. Clearly, white supremacist, and we now know kidnapper, rapist, assaulter, and possibly murderer. Yeah. This is what this devil had going on. This is his mentality. This is his view of the world, of other people. Yeah, you're starting to see it. I think y'all see it. So, as we know in the black community, what does it mean when the police or whoever says there's an investigation? An investigation is only done to find or create a reason to avoid criminal charges and accountability. When you have the clear evidence or video or clear evidence, you have the so-called smoking the smoking power tool, the smoking gat, you have that in your hand, but yet you still have to do an investigation? Yeah. It is to find or create a reason to avoid criminal charges and accountability, if possible. That's what those of us in the black community understand an investigation is about, what its purpose is, what they're trying to do with it. All of them. Every last one of them. Okay? So, here's some additional facts about this case, family, that I want to bring to your attention. We've already talked about that the police knew of problems with Haslett and at Haslett's home location because they had to visit and been called out there or sent out there 3 times in the last year. That information as to why is yet to come out. Also, according to the witnesses in the neighborhood, they've reported that a tow truck driver confirmed that he's had many tows at Haslett's address over the last few years. Ooh, got a typo there with that extra 2 there. Sorry about that, family. That's all one. Number 1 is is all one sentence, over the last few years. I was in a bit of a hurry. I'm trying to get this report out, and I missed that. My apologies. The real number 2. We know the police ignore black people's reports of missing women, missing persons reports. They just flat out ignore them. Why? What was their motivation to do that? We're gonna dig into that in a minute. In addition, we understood and seen print media and the local mainstream television media, they all co-sign the police lie and propaganda of the missing persons reports being rumors and unfounded. All right, let's look at some more facts. Number 4, the police. And if you read through the information, you might miss this fact, but we're not gonna miss it here at One Brothas Mind. Number 4, the police arrested Haslett for an animal control charge. I repeat, they arrested Haslett for an animal control charge. He was arrested after the victim escaped. Haslett was arrested after the police had already talked with and spoke with the victim, the black woman victim. So they knew what Haslett had done already. Right? They knew he had kidnapped this woman, held her captive, beat her, starved her, raped her, and other things. The police in Kansas City knew this before they arrested Haslett. And then when Haslett returned home, they arrested him on animal control charges. Make that make sense, family. Make that make sense. The next fact. Police to this day are still reporting that there is no evidence of more victims, in spite of the victim's statement. The victim told them that 2 of her friends did not make it. The victim told the neighbor witnesses that helped her the same thing. That's how we know this. The victim telling the neighborhood witnesses that helped her are the ones that shared that she said that there were additional victims, not the police. Why is that? The neighbors, after Haslett was arrested, when the police all came around to investigate the scene and everything, the neighbors reported that they had cadaver barrels. If you look at some of the reports, you'll see those blue barrels. Those are cadaver barrels. They even had cadaver dogs. In addition, the neighbors reported that they carried off many bags of evidence. Right? Why so much evidence if there's only one victim? Why cadaver barrels? Sorry, we just looking at facts right now, not questions. Number 7, the police say they found no evidence connected to any current missing persons. These are statements and facts that have been reported so far. Okay? So now, Katie Smooth got some questions. First question, right off top. Does Haslett Jr. have a police connection? Does he have friends on the force, relatives on family, some kind of police connection? Is that being explored? Are the police protecting Haslett Jr.? You say, well, Katie Smooth, they ain't protected him. They arrested him. Yeah, they arrested him on animal charges, animal control charges. Not rape, not assault, not kidnapping, animal control. Where they do that at? And then later charged him with the other charges. So again, are the police Were they initially trying to protect him by just arresting him on animal control charges when they already knew of his crimes? How do you do that? In what universe does that occur when the police already know what crimes you have committed, but yet they still arrest you on some little penny ante crime that's like a misdemeanor? Nothing. Don't miss that, y'all. Next question. Is Haslett Jr. a lone wolf? I mean, here's the problem, family. I've shared with you some highlights from what's left of his social media that the police been trying to take down and scrub and delete away. But most people with the same beliefs and views that Haslett has, they're not lone wolves. They associate, at the very least, they associate with other like-minded people. Right? What's the old saying? Birds of a feather flock together. So, is the police investigating all of Haslett's connections with other people over the last few years? I doubt it. Number 5, why did the victim become afraid when the police were being called? When the first lady that was trying to help her said, I'm going to call the police. Why did the victim become so afraid of that? She was afraid of Haslett finding out or coming back and finding him. But a victim in a situation is relieved that the police are being called and on their way, right? Why did she become afraid? Or so afraid that she left that neighbor's house and went to another house to try to find somebody else to help her? I'm not, no, I don't want no part of that. What was it about the police that added to her fear? Don't miss that, family. Again, to her family members, friends, and the people in the community, I'm begging y'all, do not leave this black lady in her hospital room by herself. Make sure that security, if y'all have to hire your own private security, family, friend, whoever, make sure there's a gang of people with her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in that hospital room until she gets well. Make sure y'all double checking everything that they are giving her, feeding her, all that. It's Katie Smooth's belief there's a whole lot more here. And the police, there's a lot of things that are pointing toward the police or some police officers or some sort of connection there that's not out yet. Protect her. Again, are other police officers involved in this crime? Is this a kidnapping string? Is this a group of like-minded individuals? Some police officers or the entire police department that's involved with this situation? Criminally? That are participating in this? In these missing black people or missing black women situation? Yeah, I said it. Some more questions. If the police are ignoring black missing persons reports, there would not be any evidence case connections. So essentially, family, if there are, say there's 50 other remains in the basement and backyard or whatever of Haslett Jr.'s house, if the police are ignoring and have been ignoring the black people's missing persons reports, then yes, that none of the evidence or remains collected would connect with any current missing persons reports. Do you get that? So it would be very easy for the police, if they're not accepting and investigating black people's or black ladies' missing persons reports, and there's a bunch of missing black people, missing black women that they find remains of, depending on how long those remains be there, it's really easy for the coroner and whoever else, these other so-called officials, to say, well, the remains are inconclusive. We don't know who these people are. We can't determine who they are. Don't miss that, family. It's very easy to cover up crimes and criminals that way, because if you can't link them victims to who did it by identifying them, case solved. Investigation over, right? A new report that came out in the last couple of days that the police actually sealed, we're talking about the prosecutor's office now, they sealed the search warrant for 30 days. The search warrant information and everything, they sealed it for 30 days. Why? That's not normally done, family. Why in this case is it sealed? Did they seal it because they're trying to participate in the cover-up? Or did they seal it because they suspect, just like Katie Smooth and many others, that there is a cover-up and that there is police involvement? So they sealed it from everybody, or at least attempted to, so nothing can be tampered with. Do you see that? Which is it? And again, I'm going to keep saying this. Why did the police refuse to investigate black missing persons reports? That's their job. That's what they're supposed to be doing. What is their motivation to do that? Racism? Or cover up? Or, protecting a known criminal conspiracy that they know is going on? I mean, most of us in the black community, we understand. It's always been this way, right? That is, there are many people in the black community that turn up missing or turn up deleted. And the crime or situation is never solved, right? The deleter is never found. But many of us and most of us in the black community, we know and understand Oftentimes when the leader or criminal is never found, oftentimes they're never found because the deleter is the police. That's always been the case. The deleter is the authorities. So of course those crimes, those deletions are never going to be solved, or at best they'll be pinned on somebody else to help cover up and redirect the attention away from who the real deleters are. Right? So again, are the police investigating, or are they covering something up? There's more. I got some more questions, family. Why has their mainstream media, or the national mainstream media, not mentioned Haslett's racism and white supremacy that I just showed you from his social media reports? Why have they not even mentioned it? Isn't it relative? Isn't it relative to motive? Social media is public information. The local mainstream media there in Kansas City, as well as national, they have all the same information that One Brothas Mind has. In fact, I would argue they got way more than One Brothas Mind has. So why are they not? Why is this the first you're hearing about his social media posts, his political views, his world views, his views toward black people? It's almost like the local mainstream media and national mainstream media are not reporting these elements of fact on purpose, isn't it? Why would they do that? Here's another one for you. Why would their local mainstream media, the first so many days that this arrest was made and reports were coming out for the first so many days, and many of them still haven't. Why have they not reported, the media, or mentioned that the victim was black? They just said a woman escaped. They didn't say a black woman. They also, in 13 on your screen, they haven't mentioned that the victim said there were other, according to many reports, 2 other victims that were deleted, that did not make it. And it's, that young lady knows herself, right? Who was there. Could she have also reported to them that there were 2 other black women that were there? Which again, further, it's already confirmed, but further confirms the connection to the ignored black women missing reports by the police department, from the bishop, from the Kansas City Defender, and others on social media early in September. Why is the media not reporting these elements of this case? It's almost as if they are doing it on purpose, right? In addition, we're talking about the media there now, and the national media. In addition, has the media, the local media at the very least, that reported that the missing persons reports were incorrect, have they reported corrections, or have they apologized for their incorrect, misleading reports that the black women missing persons reports were rumors and untrue? Have they corrected that? I've searched for them. I haven't found them. almost as if they're doing all this on purpose, right? I submit to you, family, the local media there in Kansas City, as well as all of the national media that has covered this story. This is what they do. They'll put out like a 25 second clip report on this story. Just report, black woman escaped, was kidnapped, Kansas City, Missouri, October 7th. Police are investigation. Boom. That's it. This is how they so they can say, well, we reported on it. No, you didn't. If this was a white woman that crawled, a white sister that crawled out from the basement of anybody's house, do you believe for 1 second all you gonna get is about a 20-30 second news clip report about it? They would still have news trucks sitting in front of Haslett's house, broadcasting. It would be live right now. Them talk to it would be live, streaming right now. They be broadcasting 24 hours a day from his address, from in front of that house, interviewing everybody in the neighborhood that's willing to talk to them. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. Why they not doing this? Because it's a black woman that escaped. Huh? I'm going to answer this question, family. And this is a question that many of you already know, especially my black listeners. But for those that don't get it, those that are young, it's because the media, whether local or national, they are all and always have been complicit in crimes of white supremacy and the crimes committed by white supremacists. They have always been complicit. They do their part to help cover up, shield, and protect white supremacists. When black people get arrested for something, charged with a crime, even if it's a small crime, they'll do everything they can to dig through that black person's criminal history. Find any and everything that he was arrested here for this. The charges were later dropped, but he was arrested in here for that. The charges were later dropped. But then y'all, he went through a divorce. He stepped on somebody's shoe. Everything. Where is that report about Haslett? Haslett Jr., where is that report? Where is that energy? Again, the media, the local and national, they're all complicit in covering up and protecting white supremacists. That's why you don't see these reports. Okay? The media protects, this is local and national, white supremacist crimes and criminals. They protect the police, white supremacist police, the white supremacist courts and judges, prosecutors, and government so-called officials. They protect and are complicit with them all. They get on code. That's why there's almost never or no accountability for domestic terroristic crimes of white supremacy. There are no reparations and have not been. And almost never no real jail time for crimes committed of white supremacy and terrorism. An additional note, family, you see it on your screen. It's not just your mainstream media. It's all of your social media platforms also. They are all also complicit. How, you ask? Because they are blocking, shadow banning, shadow blocking, and banning reports like this report here at One Brothas Mind on all your social media. If it's not just completely blocked and erased or deleted, they are assuring that their algorithm does not share these posts or these reports with you or with anybody for the most part. They don't just pop up on your social media feed. No. They are doing this shadow ban, if not literally just banning and deleting them completely on purpose. Why? Because all of your social media platforms are complicit. They're in on it. They're a part of the entire white supremacy structure. And they know exactly what to do, what they're required to do to get on code white supremacy. And that is ban, block, and squash social media channels like One Brothas Mind and other B1 channels out here that are reporting you the information and facts that they are not reporting, that they purposely refuse, premeditatively refuse to report. Are you seeing the face of Satan right now? Are you seeing the picture of how deep the rabbit hole goes? Not just with this case, but with all of the cases, all of the situations that are out there. That's why we asked you to hit the like button, man, and share this report on all your social media, because the social media apps, they're not sharing it on purpose. They're not going to share it with your peoples. They're not. And it's also why you need to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, because it's B1 channels like One Brothas Mind and others where you're actually going to get the real information and facts you need. Okay? So, family, y'all let me know what you think about this reports. Everything on your screen right now represents white supremacy and how it operates from the top of the White House, outside the White House, law and everything. Only thing, there's plenty of other aspects of it, like education and others, employment and other. I can go on and on and on, because all this entire system. That's where for my white listeners we get systematic white supremacy. The word systematic. That's where it comes into play, because this is a system whose foundation and design from top to bottom is white supremacy. Okay? So, family, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Okay? I'm afraid that this whole case is not being investigated. I think if there was anybody, I think the feds need to have taken over this case, because to me, there's far too many questions, far too many suspect behaviors by the police for them not to be involved in this, as I've shared with you. So potentially, and it ain't that I trust them either, but if the right federal agents are assigned this case and investigate this case, they may be able to really discover the full scope of what's happened and what's been happening and what's going on here in Kansas City. Okay? So at this time, family, we're going to have a brief word from the sponsors of this evening's report.
A word from the official sponsor of Black Empowerment, Power Tools. There's no telling when something's going to come up, so make sure you carry your power tools at all times. You never know when you're going to need to bring the hammer down, or when you'll have some trash that needs to be blown away, or some obstacle that requires cutting down. Don't get caught empty-handed. Keep your hammer close by. Keep that leaf blower at the ready. And always carry your steel. Power tools. Because no matter what your day job or side hustle may be, there's no excuse for not being ready to put in some work.
And this concludes this broadcast from One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.